main character in my animated movie lives in a small village at the bottom of a giant mountain, but currently I have no idea what that village is going to look like. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be designing a village. The first port of call is to do some drawing. Now, I'm no town planner, so this is going to involve a bit of experimentation. I've got a couple of ideas of towns that I've seen in films that I quite like. The one that comes to mind first is the town from Kiki's Delivery Service. I like the colours they use, I like the style of buildings, and I think it's very quaint. There's also a couple of places in real life that I could think of, such as the small village of Ainsa that I went to in Spain a couple of years ago. There's Mont Saint-Michel in France, or Shirakawa-go in Japan. For now, I'm just going to pick up my trusty pencil and I'm just going to give it a go. I'm just going to experiment. Okay, here we go. Alright, so I've done some drawings here. They're not amazing, but I'll take you through them anyway. The first thing I tried to draw was our main character's house. The main character in this film is going to be working as a cook or a baker or something like that. So I decided I want him to live in a sort of mill. I want his house to be a little bit weird and a little bit quirky. So I haven't fully developed that yet, but I've started that off by putting a big water wheel on the side of it. And the idea is that as that water wheel turns, there's like a conveyor belt system maybe inside that it moves around, and maybe the food are in little bowls on the conveyor belt system, and that's how they get delivered out to the public. And then I also thought there could be a big chimney on the roof, which is home to a new character that I came up with called Smoggy. Smoggy is kind of like a humanoid cloud of smoke, and every morning he comes out of his chimney and he goes up onto the roof and he spins this lever which is connected to like a big pot downstairs, and it stirs round all of the food. Yeah, so that's, I think that's a nice character. Next, I just tried to draw out the entire village. As I said before, I want it to center around this hill with the main character's house at the bottom and the sort of town square at the top, so that the main character has to venture all the way up through the town to get to this festival which is going to be held in the town square, and that sort of gives the opportunity for a bit of world building and we get to see his surroundings a little bit. I've put a big clock tower at the top just because I thought the one from Kiki's Delivery Service was really cool and I wanted to have one in my village. I did try drawing the street that leads up to the town square, but I'm not very good at perspective drawing, so that came out a bit weird. On top of this, I also thought I'd do a small drawing of the surroundings of this hill. That of course is going to be a large blossom forest. So those are the drawings I did. I'm going to try and take a picture of them and put them on my computer and then maybe trace over them in Photoshop. I'm still using a mouse. I need to get myself a drawing pad. But yeah, I'm going to do that now, and I'll talk a little bit more in depth about the story surrounding these locations and just some more ideas that I've come up with. Let's go. So the first piece I decided to try was this long shot of the whole village. In this world, the village is supposedly at the bottom of a giant mountain, but I also wanted my village to be based around some sort of hill. As I said earlier, I was inspired by stuff like The Place I Went in Spain and the films like Kiki's Delivery Service, and even this short film called The Legend of Crab Fair, which I recommend watching actually. It's only about 6 minutes, so. The problem is then, how do I join the village to this huge mountain in kind of a direct way? And the answer, of course, is to just have a huge bridge. I think this is quite cool because not only does it make the surroundings more interesting, it also provides a unique way for the characters to embark on their journey. You can see I gave all the houses in this village colourful roofs. I've always thought colourful houses look really nice together. The kind of Balamory aesthetic, the sort of stuff that you'd get in the UK at the seaside basically. Also, it just makes it more interesting as the main character's running up through the village, you know, if he goes past a whole range of different shops and houses and buildings. The second piece I did was just a focused in version of the first. I guess it kind of centres around the town square at the top. This town square will hold the main events of a festival which will take place in this village, so in reality it probably needs to be a bit bigger than I've drawn, but this drawing will do for now. Moving on, I decided to draw this blossom forest and this waterfall. My idea so far is that the main character's going to need to escape from the festivities for whatever reason, and the place he's going to come to is this forest. As he's walking through this forest, I thought you could have some sort of match shots which transition back into flashback sequences. The main character is quite isolated and he's become cut off from his childhood friends, so you could show this by maybe having him walk past a tree stump and the animation style changes and we see him and his friends using that tree stump as a house. Then maybe he could walk past a little pond or part of the stream and it could show them learning to swim. And the idea is that just as he gets further through the forest, we see how he grew apart from them and sort of became more worried and fearful of getting on their nerves. And it'll all culminate when he reaches this cliff. This is also where he's going to meet the duck character that I've talked about in previous episodes of the series. I'm not sure whether this drawing came out that good, but it at least gives an idea of the surroundings of the village. Then the final drawing that I did was of a new character I've come up with called Smoggy. Smoggy is going to be the main character's only companion at the start of the movie. He's a quirky little character and he just generally keeps things ticking around the bakery or whatever this mill that the main character lives in is. I think I want him to talk in a sort of low whistle rather than saying any words. It's difficult to decide how a cloud should speak, but I think if I was to meet a cloud, it would talk to me in a mixture of sort of wind noises and whistles. Obviously he probably won't be subtitled, but the main character's going to understand him anyway, you know? I wanted to make him as adorable as possible. He looks a little bit big in this, but I would say in reality he'll probably be about the size of a cushion or a small pillow. Anyway, I'm pleased with how this turned out. Okay, so there we have it. I've now got some finished initial drawings of my fantasy village. I don't come up with many good ideas, but I think the character of Smoggy is amazing. It's just a cloud of smoke with arms and legs. If you feel at all inspired by anything that I've done today or just by the movie idea in general, then feel free to do your own artwork. I've set the bar low for you. And you can actually send it to me by putting it on my Discord. There's a whole channel just for submitting your own art. And I think it's really cool whenever people have done that before. It's blown the cobwebs off this old man's heart. Thank you very much for watching this video and subscribe if you want more stuff like this in the future. And goodbye.